Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Higher or Lower, brought to you by oddschecker, SpreadX and Sporting Index. I'm your host, George Elek. I'm delighted to be joined by Jack Wright and Dan Worth as we look ahead to the weekend's football in the Championship and in the Premier League, taking the midpoint from the spread betting markets with Sporting Index and SpreadX and saying if we think they will go higher or lower. Now, Dan, I've got a bone to pick with you.
Yeah, I think I can guess what it is, but go on, fire away.
Go on.
Well, I was going to say, why have we not gone for Oxford Stevenage as the first game?
Absolutely disgusting. Like
We can't have that kind of bias on this show.
Hold on.
Right.
League One and League Two are criminally undercovered. Like when you look at the way that the MSM like us just cover the Premier League and a bit of the Championship, it's important to give due credit and coverage to League One. We've got an unbelievable game on Friday night live on Sky.
You do.
Oxford against Stevenage, one of the biggest. They're calling it the biggest game in the country this year. And yet, we're going straight to Leicester West Brom. What has happened there?
Well, look, mate, I'm just trying to scroll down on SpreadX now to get your price, and it's so far down, it's taking me that long. But let's do it.
Don't have a go at SpreadX.
Supremacy, Oxford favourites, midpoint of 0.7. Yeah, I'm probably lower too. There you go, covered.
Okay. Cameron Brannigan shots.
Mate, this is the thing. It's so big that the markets aren't even really live yet.
They'll come up soon. I was devastated, but also slightly happy because I probably would have had to go lower, and that would have been embarrassing.
I did think that too. I'm saving your base.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Who Reading got?
I can't even remember right now.
Oh no!
Wow.
Oh, it's Burton, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is Burton.
It's Burton. I hope you win that.
Yeah,
Norwich.
I agree. We're at home. We're at home to Bristol City.
Win that playoffs.
Yeah.
Playoffs anyway, isn't it?
I'm just finalising my hotel accommodation.
Wow.
Yeah.
We don't live that far away from Wembley, mate.
He does quite far, you know. That is like the equivalent of booking the open top bus parade and then finding out. I wouldn't have said it out loud. Yeah. Right. Enough of that. Let's look at not Friday night football, but the early kickoff on Saturday in the Championship. Leicester hosting West Bromwich Albion. Leicester still favourites to win the Championship, but not really because of anything they're doing. It's because every time they don't score and lose a game, Leeds and Ipswich follow suit by struggling to ram home the advantage. They're up against the West Brom side who look likely to be in the playoffs, but it's not done yet. So this is by no means a dead rubber for them. We're looking at the supremacy market here. 1.05 is the midpoint with SpreadX. So this is the amount of goals that Leicester, who are favourites, will win by. So higher here would be Leicester basically -1. Lower would be Leicester to win the game by 1 goal, a draw, or West Brom winning the game. Are we going higher or lower? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, this was obvious, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah. You've already kind of said it there, haven't you, as far as Leicester is concerned.
Yeah, bad hosting that.
Where they're going. And their last form over the last 10 games has been that of like a relegation form. I think they picked up 10 points over the last 10 games. And this is clearly not an easy match against the West Brom side, like you say, faltering a little bit themselves. Pressure's on behind them from 6th place. Could well switch over this weekend. So, yeah, I just feel that line here, that 1.05 midpoint, Leicester would certainly take a 1-goal advantage, a 1-goal win here. I having all those results on side for me, for West Brom, that will be well organised under Carlos Corberán, and is what swung it. Simple as that, really, to be fair. 7 unbeaten away. The Ipswich and Hull were the only top half sides in that run, but I think they've got it in them to get a positive result from the King Power.
Yeah. You talked about the last 10 games. Leicester have only won 1 of them. Well, they've only won 3, but they've only won 1 of them by more than 1 goal. So I think that recent form suggests that we are on the right side here. And West Brom aren't conceding loads of goals. Their 3rd fewest goals conceded in the league this season, and obviously Leicester need to score 2 to win, or for higher to win here. So, looks like lower to me.
Yeah, I think even when if Leicester do win this game, West Brom are so solid. Generally, I know they're not playing that well at the moment, but they are a solid defensive side. We saw them against teams who are kind of up towards the top end of the Championship already this season, make life very difficult. So even if Leicester are to win this game, and I do think there's a fair chance they will, like even though it's been kind of a lot has been made of Leicester's recent run of form, I think it's mainly down to poor finishing for the most part. Like it's not like I mean they're not playing great, but they're not. There hasn't been a massive slide, I don't think, in terms of performance level, conceding opposition scoring against them with minimal chances and then not finishing their chances themselves. So with the line being just over 1, it's pretty easy to go on the low side.
That was the swinger for me. Second most clean sheets in the league this season, I think West Brom, isn't it, with 17?
Nice.
And we've referred to the reverse fixture a few times. We might as well do it in this one.
Yeah.
A lot of everyone that weird game where West Brom decided
threw everyone forward.
Yeah, really wanted to go for it and ended up losing 2-1 very late on. But which obviously, if that was repeated here, would still get us the win that we need by the lower.
So there are currently 4 teams above West Brom on the table: Ipswich, Leicester, Leeds, Southampton. Once they've played this game, they'll have played each one of them home and away, and they've only been beaten by more than 1 goal once, and that was Southampton at home back in February, and that was only 2-0. So they've got 2 wins against Leeds and Ipswich at home, 2 defeats by a solitary goal, which was Leicester and Southampton, and then 2 draws away at Leeds and away at Ipswich. So in 1 of 7, the high would have copped here. So
and that game you referred to, Dan, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the one game they did win by 2 or more goals, Leicester, in that recent run was home to Norwich.
Wow. Sorry, mate. I left that out for you, but
that's fine.
What happened there?
I don't know what happened there actually.
And also, the goal that meant it was 3-1 came very, very late as well.
It did come very late, and Norwich decided to park the bus, and it didn't work.
Talking of parking the bus, Manchester City came up against a bit of a bus at home on Wednesday night against Real Madrid, and they didn't really manage to break it down particularly well. They did so once, but they've been knocked out of the Champions League. We are now looking at the FA Cup semi-final on Saturday afternoon between Manchester City and Chelsea. Chelsea obviously haven't played Monday night. Seems a bit harsh this for City, having to play Wednesday night Champions League and then straight into a Saturday game and then Thursday next week. You kind of thought maybe they'd switch the 2 FA Cup semis around and give City another day's rest, but they haven't. But City are favourites here, looking at the supremacy market. Again, similar line, 1.3 is the midpoint here with Spreadex, so it's the same bet effectively. Higher is City -1, lower is Chelsea or draw, or City by a solitary goal. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I knew that would happen.
Yeah? Why?
Well, I don't know. Like, Chelsea's form recently has been okay. Shall I say okay? Good, maybe, for Chelsea of late. Chelsea have been eliminated from 5 of their last 7 FA Cup ties against Man City. As you can imagine, that does span over a few years. So you're going to hate that.
Chelsea are unbeaten in the league since the 4th of Feb.
Yeah, it's gone under the radar a little bit, hasn't it?
It has done, yeah. I mean, they've only won 4 games and they've drawn 4, so unbeaten in 8.
Lots of draws. I just think...
4.
That's lots, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
I just think Man City will be, like, obviously very annoyed by what happened last night, and they're just going to take it out on Chelsea. And I think the 2-goal deficit, as much as I've gone against it in the previous market, we are talking about Man City here. And, 2 goals to Man City, I don't want to give away my next answer, but I think they can do that.
Okay, Jack?
Yeah, I don't think they can do that. I think it is a tough turnaround. Like I said, the fixture list is backlogged for them, so the congestion's there. Yes, they've got great strength in depth, we know that. But also, you look at the results this season, 2 draws, 1 bonkers 4-4 draw, of course, and then that 1-1, which needed a late Rodri goal to equalise. Is it a case of Chelsea have maybe got the number? And it does feel to me that Chelsea do kind of able to find a little bit more when they're playing the bigger sides and in the bigger games as well. They've contested those well this season. Obviously, we'll have the confidence from Monday, scoring the goals. Your good friend Cole Palmer, of course, in great form against his old club. So I think there's enough in that, and also generally speaking across the, this is an FA Cup semi-final at the end of the day. We don't tend to have, when 2 big sides come together in this, they don't tend to have one where it's a 2-3 or more goal margin victory. So yeah, I'm happy to take many, again, results on side. Again, City be very happy to take a 1-goal win here, move on, and go from there.
Yeah,
what was that?
I agree with you about the nature of a cup game. I mean, it can go both ways, obviously, because the opposition, say City are ahead, Chelsea will have to come out, and that can lead to things going the other end. But it does feel more like games are generally tighter because the outcome isn't 3 points; it's progression, isn't it?
Yeah.
Chelsea's performances and results this season against the best teams in the league has been a rare ray of light, I would say. You've got City home and away; they haven't lost either of those games. 4-4 and 1-1 in those two games. Arsenal and Liverpool at home; they didn't lose either of those either. So it's only the 4-1 away defeat against Liverpool back in January, which is their only defeat against the top three or the three title challengers, and they've generally played pretty well against them. Anyone who pays attention to the data side of things will know that Chelsea's form this season doesn't really align with their underlying numbers. I think we're seeing, maybe in isolation, but in a couple of games recently, when they're clinical, they can still be a very good side. Yes, there is a worry in my mind about the inexperience in the side going into an FA Cup semi-final up against a City team that have won it all before. But then at the same time, this is Chelsea's biggest game of the season, without a doubt now, and this is the most important game they're going to have, and their opportunity to get silverware and to lift the FA Cup. So, I think that there must be. I mean, you mentioned that you think City are going to be annoyed after the game midweek and come and batter Chelsea. I think it could be the other way around, where like a draining 120 minutes against Real Madrid, a penalty shootout defeat. You have Pep Guardiola saying after the game that both De Bruyne and Haaland asked to come off because physically they just couldn't do it anymore. Like it doesn't feel like that's a particularly strong position for City to be in. Also, the fact that Haaland is just like woefully out of form weakens them too. It wouldn't surprise me if City put out quite a surprising team here, possibly.
Yeah. Chelsea might be keen to get to penalties as well, so all four of their children can have a go.
Do I get it?
They were just squabbling over the penalty, weren't they?
Okay, cool.
Thought,
yeah.
They'll all get a go.
But then on the other side, Man City are definitely not going to want that to happen after what you just said.
Definitely not.
Like a gruelling game against Real Madrid. I'd say that almost backs up my shout that they'll want to just come flying out of the traps and get this done.
What, the fact that they're gruelling game against Real Madrid?
Yeah.
But do you not think they would always want to come out of the traps and get this done?
Yeah.
So like,
even more so after that tiring game.
I think there will be a physicality issue here, like a fatigue issue, depending on what team he puts out. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if we see, Kovacic come in, Doku play off the left, but we shall see.
Yeah, it's not bad though.
And he's got lots of options, hasn't he? Let's face it. But those key players I think will be rotated out. Actually, to be fair, Alvarez in and so on. But.
And then also, I mean, in a way, you'd probably rather have De Bruyne able to come on and impact the game late rather than early on. But we'll see. Yeah, we will see. Total goals in the same game, 3.35 is the midpoint with spread X. So if you're going over here or higher, it's 4 or more goals. Lower will be 3 or fewer. 3, 2, 1.
Alone.
Chelsea going to keep back-to-back clean sheets, are they?
I'm not necessarily a clean sheet, but I think 4 goals. I'm quite happy to go lower with this one. Yeah, I think this is.
But if you're going lower for the supremacy. But you're also saying under goals.
Yeah.
Then that's a stance on City's goal output, surely.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm quite comfortable with it.
Nice.
To be honest.
Okay.
1-0 win. 1-0 win for City.
If they can win.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I would not be
1-0 win for
surprised.
City. 2-0 win for City.
Yeah.
1-0 draw.
Yeah, but 2-0 win goes against the other choice.
Yeah, true. But you sneaky yourself here.
Yeah.
Or covering both. Maybe I'm confusing
two,
myself.
Too many scores. But anyway, I've got a lot of scores on side with this outcome. So I just think it's going to be more of a controlled performance. As I say, there's been a lot of energy expended already for Manchester City. So I think their side of it, they will have more of the ball. I think it will be more of a controlled performance. We're not going to see a stretched game, end-to-end excitement, I don't think, in this one. We've kind of seen similar FA Cup ties previously with Chelsea in them. And I just think, this is how this one will go, especially hot on the heels of that 120 minutes plus penalties as well for City. And looking at the FA Cup semi-finals of recent years, you don't tend to have loads of goals in them either. So, I just think that we're looking down the road here that this will be relatively low scoring. Let's say 4 is a high enough line for me to be able to take under as well. And so the 2 games they played in the FA Cup, which are comparable, I would say, was Spurs, which was a 1-0 win for them, and Newcastle, which was that controlled 2-0 win for them. So I'd see that going down that route, other than the big wins they had against lesser opposition.
Yeah, I just think Chelsea and goals, basically, like their last 6 league games have all gone 4 or more: 2-2, 3-2, 2-2, 4-3, 2-2, 6-0. Suggested this will probably be 2-2. yeah, like I know they kept a clean sheet against Everton. They're pretty fortunate to do so. Beto missed that open goal at 0-0. They're not particularly good defensively. City's attacking power, I think, I think City will have a lot of joy. Like, it wasn't like they didn't create chances against Real Madrid on Wednesday night as well. But I expect Chelsea to hurt City too. So, I think Palmer will obviously be the main attacking man. But I think we're seeing Nicholas Jackson play very well at the moment, which is a positive for him. And I think, in a cup game where I don't anticipate it'll be particularly cagey, I don't think it'll stay 0-0 for very long. As soon as the first goal goes in and things start to open up. So yeah, I'm happy to go over here. Also, if you look at Chelsea's games against kind of better teams in the league, again, there's that 4-4 draw against City, but also the 2-2 against Arsenal, the 4-1 win over Spurs, the 3-2 against Newcastle, the 4-3 against United, 4-1 defeat against Newcastle as well. Like, there's a lot of high-scoring games within those.
Yeah, I agree. Basically, it's just a combination of what both of you have said, that I don't think Chelsea will keep a clean sheet, and I think City will win by 2 or more. So that's already 3 goals. So
has to be.
It just has to be for me. And I was anticipating anyone that disagreed with me saying, "Oh well, what about that 1-1?"
What about that 1-1?
Well, yes, it was 1-1, and it took a late Rodri goal to get the draw. But City had 31 shots on that day. It's the 5th most in any Premier League game this season. XG of 3 for City and 2 for Chelsea. So you could argue probably should have been more goals in that game. I don't know. I want to go back to my usual catchphrase of, I think it's going to be fun. But a random fact for you both.
Go on.
Rodri scored in both games in the Premier League against these two sides this season.
So is that your nap? He's going to score again?
And Sterling scored in both games this season.
Wow.
Don't know if he'll play or start at least, but I don't know, maybe something to consider if you're looking at getting involved.
Rodri and Sterling on the score sheet.
Another player who'd like to take a penalty probably if he was on the pitch, Raheem.
Yeah, there we go. That's 5 then.
Right. Wolves, Arsenal now. We're looking at shirt numbers here. So this is the total amount of numbers on the back of the goal scorer's shirts over the course of the game. Spreadex have the midpoint here is 46.5, so 45 to sell, 48 to buy. Are we going higher or lower? 3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
sorry, mate.
I am quite surprised by that.
Yeah, me too. Especially after talking about how I think just us two need Havertz to score.
What's happened there?
I like that this late on in the season I'm still surprising you.
Well, that's the first time we've ever gone lower for anything related to anything like that. It's annoying that, as per etiquette in this game, Jack goes first, because I want to hear from you. But yeah.
Okay, well, I'll be brief. This is, I don't really know what to expect from the game, so expect the unexpected. I actually feel that Wolves will give this a real go, and I think they might cause Arsenal a few problems. And Arsenal clearly no win in their last 3, couple of defeats, big defeats as well, as far as in the league to Villa and again Bayern Munich, which I thought they were really poor last night, to be fair, and didn't create an awful lot. So I'd expect to see some decent rotation in here, which then brings those higher shirt numbers into the equation. There are a few there. Some key players from the season. I know Rice hasn't scored loads of goals, but he's certainly popped up with 1 or 2 crucial ones. Havertz at 29. Trossard, I think, will get some game time at 19. And then, so you look, as far as Wolves are concerned, you've got Sarabia's arguably with Cunha their biggest goal threat with 21. Cunha's 12, and you've got Doyle at 20. So I've got a feeling there might be more goals than I'm generally expecting it on the back of this being quite a tough period of time for Arsenal, and I think their defensive solidity might be eroded a little bit given the workload they've had recently. So that's the reason I'm going for that. But it's not a confident pick, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I just think Arsenal keep a clean sheet here, so I'm not worried about the Sarabias and the Cunhas. I'm potentially a little bit worried about Havertz, but he can't make this up on his own unless he scores.
I think, and this is why I've gone lower. Jorginho was taken out of the team against Villa, and he came off against in midweek. I feel like he's had a great season, but possibly his form is beginning to dip as his kind of legs slightly tire as the season goes on. My hunch is that it'll be Rice playing in the middle of the 3, Havertz on the left, and Jesus up front, and that's why I've gone lower. If a team comes out and you've got Rice playing on the left of the 3 and Havertz up front, then I would probably go higher, but I also think the line would move.
Yeah. Well, that is actually a really important factor here, because you see the likes of... No, but like Saka not looking fit. I know he's got... I I think he's 7, isn't he? So he's probably not going to have a massive influence on this anyway. Odegaard's not looking 100%.
Well, if those two aren't playing, that's 7 and 8 taken out.
Therefore,
their replacement.
That is a good point, but they're their biggest goal threats.
Arteta plays Saka when he's unable to walk, so I think he'll play. Cool. Okay. Well, yeah. So we have
it's an interesting market.
A rare collector's item.
Yeah.
We have there.
It's worth having in just for that.
Dan Worth going lower.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Do not scratch your eyes.
Yeah. We had that for the fact that he's retired the goal scorer market.
I know.
Yeah.
He gets one right.
2. Come on.
Well, we all got the first one right.
Yeah. Okay.
So you, for once, went higher. We went lower.
Yeah.
Cole Palmer, he scored 4 goals.
Yeah.
Goal
minutes made up over 100 on his own.
He's possibly put you in only 50% deficit for that market over the course of the season.
Yeah, I'll need to go back to the Google Doc and work it out.
I think you should.
Player goal minutes.
On that note.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Let's have a look at the leaderboard.
Yeah, we can do. Sorry, I shouldn't have brought it up.
Because you've got a new leader.
We do, and it's you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Very, very tight though.
What are the granular stats? What can you tell us?
Both you two have answered 215 correct this season, I believe.
Well done.
But Jack has answered a few more than you, so he's 1 percentage point
quite
lower.
A weird number more than me.
Yeah, it needs to be looked at,
So
but it's a low number.
He's answered 3 questions more than me, which
allegedly,
unless I've just forgotten to stick the bat up, doesn't make. Or unless I just fell asleep during one of these shows.
Well, you have a track record of being ill on these shows.
I did. I've been well for 5 weeks now.
You have, and in that time you've only gone up. So. Stay fit.
Well, it helps when you can actually think.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Right, let's gloss over that league table and move on.
Yeah,
okay, let's have a look at a relegation clash between 2 teams who've been docked points this season. Will they be picking up booking points? That's a good segue.
That's good.
Everton hosting Nottingham Forest. Booking points here, 10 points for a yellow, 25 points for a red. 48 is the midpoint of the sporting index. So if you're going higher, you want 5 yellows or 3 yellows and a red. Yeah, I mean, whatever it is. If you're going lower, then 4 yellows or fewer. Chris Kavanagh, the Cav.
C-Cav.
Yeah, the Cav. Calvin Cav is our referee for this one. Interesting. Higher or lower? 3, 2, 1. What on earth?
Yes.
Why? What are you doing?
A feisty FFP derby is on the cards.
But he doesn't. But it's off the cards.
He will have no choice but to get involved here. Cav.
This is like when we sat here the other day and we were talking about Wolves Villa and we're like they hate each other and you were like no, I prefer going with a referee and I ignore the
Generally,
game.
this is true. No, this is true.
Yeah.
But I can't be so rigid.
Yeah.
I can't be so rigid. I do have to have some flex.
All right.
And I am for this one. I'm flexing.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple of main reasons why. Yeah, generally speaking, you brought him up there. The C Cav is not one of the most prolific referees, so he's a slight disappointment for me. But I think that also means that I'm getting a bit of a decent line to attack. 5 or more yellows, as you say, or an equivalent thereof, would be enough for this one. And again, I think I'm looking at my upside as opposed to my downside. I can't see us being completely card-free. So therefore, I'm getting relatively low risk for the fact that I could potentially, it could kick off. Massive, massive game at the bottom of the table. Either of these sides taking advantage, we'll be seeing dark arts, we'll be seeing time wasting, even if potentially, who would you say would be happy with a point here? Forest be happy with a point? It's a tough one to call. It's like a must not lose game, certainly, possibly even more than a must win game. And also for me, Everton off the back of a 6-0 thumping on Monday night. Sean Dyche is not the kind of manager that's going to shrug it off and go, it's just one of those nights. You know, and he did label it quite aggressively as far as how bad it was from his side. So expect them to be getting it on the training ground, and he will demand a response from him. And the Goodison Park faithful will, and I think there'll be a big atmosphere. Sunday lunchtime, isn't it? Kick-off. And I just think like the atmosphere, the game state, the situation with this does scream that there'll be cards in it. I say, looking at Forest away games, they actually average 53.57 this season. They're not the highest as far as both Everton and Forest aren't like the highest as far as the cards are concerned. But under Nuno, that's 53.57 on average when they're away from home, and they've contributed 28.57 to those. So they're picking up best part of 3 cards per game. As I said, Kavanagh's 17 Premier League games, his average is 44.12, which is up on his career average. So he has had a bit of a spike this season.
Yeah, what does that tell you?
That tells you that he's not happy with the way that they're being back-chatted to this season, and he's producing more yellow cards due to the new directives.
That average is coming down fast at the moment.
But let's go back up again.
Because it made up, there were 2 bookings in Liverpool Palace last weekend.
Yeah.
3 before that was Sheffield Wednesday Norwich, so not in the same league. But then 2 in Forest Palace, Forest under Nuno, again. 1 red and two yellows in Villa Spurs. And then he showed 7 in Chelsea Liverpool, a game where we know no love lost between the two sides. So if you look at the this season, he's averaged 4.06 yellows per game in the Premier League, but in the Championship 2.67 in his 3 games there, and his career and he officiated 1 game in League 2 and just gave the 1 yellow. If you look at his career average, it's 3.35 in the Premier League, 3.55 in the Championship. Like, he is, over his career, consistently being a referee who doesn't like to show cards. And even though I accept that there's a lot at stake here, I kind of think with guys like Chris, if you're someone who doesn't like giving cards, I almost kind of think the more that's at stake, the more they try and keep the cards in their pocket. That's all I think. Like, there isn't any animosity between these two in particular, apart from the fact they're both trying to stay up.
Do you think there is a little bit more now this season because of the fact that they've both been the say victims?
I think if anything, they're probably all going to be like,
brothers in arms.
Everyone will be singing the same song in the stadium. Yeah. So
off.
Yeah. So certain. I shouldn't say anymore. So yeah, I'm pretty happy going lower here.
I thought you were bringing up the Championship averages because you were going to say this is going to be a battle between 2 Championship quality sides.
I would never say that.
No, you wouldn't.
Also, if you get rid of the points deductions, they're both absolutely fine.
Yeah, but unfortunately, and I know,
yeah,
you can't get rid of the points deductions. You just have to grin and bear it.
Yeah.
I have nothing really more to say other than last time these 2 sides met, albeit not under the reign of Chris Cav, 1 yellow.
There you go.
Yeah. 2 games for Cavan at Forest away this season and produced lots of cards, 5 and 6. Sent off Dominic Calvert-Lewin this season as well, in an FA Cup tie, admittedly.
He's not going to do that again, is he?
And rescinded,
No.
right?
That was a terrible
Won't
decision.
make that mistake again.
Basically, ever since then, he's just stopped giving cards. He's like, I don't need that grief.
Yeah.
That's when he got dropped down to League 2 for the next game.
Exactly right, yeah. He basically was so keen to get that red card out.
Yeah.
Even watched it on the TV screen and went, I'm giving it a red card.
Yeah.
Get off.
Yeah.
Yeah, get off.
Madness.
Yeah.
On to a game that I'm going to on Sunday afternoon at Wembley Stadium. Coventry,
so showbiz.
Coventry City against Manchester United. Massive game for Cov, whose playoff aspirations are starting to dwindle a little bit. I guess maybe because they've got this on the horizon, because they'll fancy this, I would have thought. Yeah. United are favourites for this one. 1.3 is the midpoint with Sporting Index. So again, higher is United -1. Lower is all other eventualities. Coventry to win, draw, and United by a solitary goal. Surely, Jack, you and I haven't got on very well about Manchester United recently. I think it's 2-0 to me in that stakes.
It is.
Yeah, so let's see what happens here.
It's about time we revisited my Brentford prediction. Go on.
3, 2, 1. Yeah,
Hey!
we're all in agreement here. Dan, you tell us why you think the Championship Coventry can upset the team who currently sit 6th in the Premier League.
Yeah. I am not backing Man United to beat any team in England's top 4 leagues by more than 1 goal right now.
Oh my God. Forest Green Rovers.
I knew it. I knew that's what he said. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't? Okay, that's mad.
That would be the biggest game for them in a long time. They'd be right up for it. I'm not taking...
Have they played anyone in League 2 this season? I don't know why I'm counter-arguing. You're in the same boat.
Yes,
Yeah.
they played
Newport County.
Yeah. Battered them.
Fine. Right. Well, I wouldn't back Man United to win by 2 goals against Reading. And they're basically anyone. Right. You've scuppered my argument.
Reading are a good side.
Thanks, mate. Can we clip that up?
All we have to clip up is you saying, I wouldn't back United to... It reminds me of when I tweeted during Solskjaer's reign, if you're an EFL fan, would you like Ole to replace your current manager? And it was like 82% no, and loads of United fans got really upset.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm doing here. But genuinely, especially Coventry. They're a very good EFL side, as you know, more than anyone.
Championship side, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So if my comment is okay to stand, Coventry will be right up there as the best. They've had a great time in the FA Cup, right? They've scored the most goals of any team. They didn't, like, they had to work hard against Wolves, of course, but like they look like the better side in my opinion. Man United, all over the place. We've talked about it a million times, conceding shots, blah, blah, blah. I just think Coventry can do it. Big day for them. And also, actually, I've got something here for you, George. I looked at the last the last time these two sides met in this competition.
David Bust?
Oh, I don't know the names, mate. It's way before
That's
I was
before
born.
your time, yeah.
1986-7.
Yeah.
David, you were there
He was there.
when David Bust broke his leg. It's one of the most horrific injuries
horrible.
of all time.
Absolutely horrible.
I'll have to delve into the
Was it
archives.
David Boost? I can't remember.
Bust his
It's
legs, isn't
10 years
Yeah.
before my time. But heard it was a cracker.
it? Oh.
Let's move on.
That's horrendous. Here we go. So a broken leg in 1996, which ended his career. His injury is often considered as the most horrific injury in the Premier League.
It wasn't nice.
I did not think we were talking about David Boost. I guess maybe Coventry Manchester United is the Boost derby. Total goal minutes now. So this is the total cumulative minutes that goals are scored in within the game. What are you laughing at?
I'm just reading my notes.
Does it just say I love goals?
Yeah, it actually does.
173 is the midpoint here. The Sporting Index. So higher is loads of goals and late goals. Lower is fewer goals and early goals. High line 175. So 173.5. We're going higher or lower. 3, 2, 1.
Oh!
Yeah.
What's he become this week?
I don't know.
What's that?
Right, lower for goals.
What?
Me going lower for goals.
Yeah.
I'm surprised myself. But you have to go first here, mate.
You'll be, you're running the marathon aren't you, on Sunday.
Yeah,
So
I am.
maybe I'm assuming what's happened is because of
Because I can't watch it.
No, because you're running the marathon. Yeah, no, because you're running the marathon on Sunday. I'm assuming that you've been living quite healthily the last couple of weeks.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah,
Not too bad.
Less alcohol in the bloodstream.
Yeah, less caffeine, getting less excited about things.
Making your decisions. You're like got a clearer head. I don't know what that says about me going higher.
Yeah.
Look, Coventry are a relentlessly attacking football team, and whether it is them going ahead or them chasing the game, they will continue to throw men forward. We had that ridiculous game against Wolves where the total goal minutes must have made up about 400 with 4 goals in the last 10 minutes. They will start, I'm pretty sure, with Jack Wright playing, with Ellis Sims playing, with Casey Palmer playing, and possibly Callum O'Hare as well. Like, this is not going to be a Championship team who's set up to defend and frustrate. They will absolutely fancy their chances of going there and playing their usual game and make it difficult for United. We know that United concede the most shots of any team in world football, effectively. Coventry, I'm sure, will have plenty of chances. But similarly, I expect Manchester United to have joy themselves going forward. Like, you have to remember this is still a team that are scoring quite a lot of goals in games, that have quality players that should be able to upset Coventry. And then you throw into the mix the fact that it's a cup tie. So the way I see this is one of two things is going to happen here. Either it's going to be fairly tight going into the closing stages, in which case we will see end-to-end football, or one team will blitz the other one, in which case the game will massively open up. I just cannot, unless there is like a horrendous level of finishing, I cannot see this being like 0-0 with 20 minutes to go at all, because it's two teams who, certainly it's a poor United defensive side and a Coventry team who I fancy to create loads. Like even in that game against Wolves, they missed loads of chances until it all opened up as well at both ends. So I'm not normally one who's mad keen on buying in total goal minutes, but I think I'm going to this game and I've backed Coventry already, and I'll be having some spread bets, possibly more like just total goals rather than total goal minutes. But I'll be going with goals as well. I'm surprised, but let's because you're having like an existential crisis, am I right? So
Yeah, it's been a wild episode.
Yeah.
I think Coventry go ahead early and spend the rest of the game.
That's just mad. Okay.
As are most of my picks this week.
Have you?
Go on.
Well, no, but like that's just they never do that. So why are they going to do it here?
I mean, it's massive, right? Semi-final at
Huge.
Wembley, 1-0 up. Like, they'll be so happy with that. Like, there's
it
no need
wouldn't-
to get caught on the break.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if they did drop in.
Yeah.
but they're not going to drop in and they're not going to do a Norwich against Leicester and be like, we're just going to have no interest here in doing anything. Like they will play certainly Wright, Palmer, and Simmons will play really high still.
Yeah.
And they'll look to spring. So I mean,
That's fine.
You do you.
I think Either way, they're going to look to protect a 1-goal lead. I think. Plus, I've learned recently this is quite high.
Yeah.
And if
there are some where you think, 5 goals, it's and that still. No.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. And I'm starting to look at this line and think, well, it definitely requires 1 late goal. Potentially, could require 2 late goals. Obviously, if they're very late, they could make up this on its own. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe birthday on Saturday. I'm starting to grow up and learn from my mistakes, but we'll soon find out.
Birthday Saturday, marathon Sunday.
All about me this week.
What a weekend.
Yeah.
No
Jack?
goals. This was a very tough one. It was balanced for me. It's the agents of chaos, Man United, going to say an attacking Coventry side. And I felt that, yes, there should be goals in it. And then I counterbalanced that with the fact that it is a very high line and it's an FA Cup semi-final, so kind of potentially we'll have a little bit more at stake in it. So I'd say it was a toss of a coin, really, and I just went with the lower on the fact that, based mainly on that high line. And just looked over, and I knew I had these stats. And I forgot we had 2 semi-finals we were talking about. As far as the last 3 years of the FA Cup semi-finals are concerned, last year it was 3-0 in Man City versus Sheffield United. That made up 170. The other game, which did involve Man United, was 0-0. 2-0 and 3-2 the year before. 141 minutes and 208 minutes in the 3-2, which was Liverpool-Man City. And it was a Man City added on time goal, Bernardo Silva, I believe, in that one to get that one over the line. And then prior to that, both games ended 1-0 with both goals scored in the 55th minute. So it wouldn't surprise me that you absolutely cruise this one in, but I've gone with my kind of gut shot in the fact that I think there might be lower than expected, so I'm going lower on a high line.
Gut shot. That's that thing they now sell in M&S, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah. Probiotics and all that.
Okay, I might get some.
Yeah, I've tried it a few times. I think it might be, one for another podcast maybe. Sunday afternoon also sees, they'll be going on at the same time, won't they? Fulham hosting Liverpool in the Premier League. We're looking at the total goals market here as well. The line is 3.6 with Sporty Index. So lower is 3 goals or fewer. Higher is 4 goals or more. Liverpool clearly come into this not in great form, having drawn a blank in their last 2 games. Fulham fresh off a cracking 2-0 win over West Ham. Should mention, recording this on Thursday morning. So Liverpool play Atalanta tonight. We have no idea.
No, we don't.
Absolutely no idea what's going to happen. So we have to caveat it with that. Right, total goals, 3.6. Higher or lower, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, my word. Right.
Oh,
What's going on?
goodness me.
Lift the mask. Scooby-Doo, where are you?
Me. I'm really surprised by that
Why?
both of you are against me. I don't know, well, maybe you should
Well,
be
Well,
surprised
we're
about that.
surprised we're against you. We're possibly
It's a great diversifier for this for you, because if you're right, you can
Could
be
be
top of the league.
massive. Oh, this could be massive.
If you're wrong, you're out.
Is it because you're busy all day Sunday?
Although
all
given-
weekend?
yeah.
You've
I want
gone-
0
you've
goals
gone- you've said, I'm
everywhere
not
on
watching it,
Sunday.
so
Although
interesting.
given that you do the scoring, I reckon you'll get all these wrong and you'll probably still be like 57%.
I reckon so too, mate.
Yeah.
You covered off my main points, really. Liverpool are just so out of form at the moment. Like, terrible. Massive game in Italy tonight, which I probably expect them to win and probably not qualify, to be perfectly honest. They've had 54 more shots than Man City. This is my favourite stat at the moment. 54 more shots than Man City, yet have had 8 fewer on target.
Wow.
That's just terrible. They're underperforming their XG by 10 goals. Can't hit.
Bundle.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if what I was about to say was rude or not, so I just
What were you
stopped it.
gonna say?
Can't remember. Salah, particularly.
Can't hit.
So out of form. He
Yeah.
can't hit.
Yeah.
Nunez, he can't hit. That's fine. 4 goals is high. All right.
Okay.
It is relatively high, but this is Liverpool. They do create lots and lots of chances. Nunez, possibly, we've talked about him a lot. Salah, surely that's going to come right for him. Watched the game against Palace last week and how Liverpool didn't score in that one, I don't really know. There was a couple of absolutely sensational blocks, a fantastic save as well from Henderson. And it's just one of those. And also Alisson made a brilliant save himself. How do I see the game going? Liverpool are going to have to win this game. I also think they're going to have to win it from behind. The trend they've set this season is ridiculous as far as their concession of goals and concession of the first goal as well. They've fallen behind to the opening goal 21 times in the league this season, which is absolutely ridiculous considering where they are in it. But so I don't think they can afford to drop any more points really between now and the end of the season. So look, scored 72 across the season so far. They're averaging themselves 2.25 per game. I think Fulham are in a good spot at the moment. They seem to be kind of getting the best out of the fact that the handbrake's off a little bit and there's not really any jeopardy in their games. And I think a game at the Cottage, spring, pleasant weather, I think it all has the attributes of being just one of those games where it's going to be entertaining, end-to-end, thrill-a-minute ride.
Finally, we're talking about the weather again. It's been a while.
I can't believe you're using my own rationale against me.
It's also just not really true. It's like 12 degrees and cloudy on Sunday.
Lovely.
It's going to be pretty chilly. Chance of showers, but that's fine.
Shirt sleeve order.
Yeah, with Liverpool in particular, and we'll see what happens in Europe tonight. But like as you said, they missed loads of chances against Palace. They missed loads of chances against Atalanta in the first leg. They missed loads of chances against United in the 2-2 draw. Like it's just, you basically said that that's a reason to get on under goals. I think it's a massive reason to go over because this poor finishing run is not going to continue. They've got too many good players. I think
Jota coming back as well, who's their most
clinical. Yeah. I think they'll create loads of chances again against Fulham, but defensively they're not looking great at the moment, and Fulham I'm sure will have joy too. So I think BTTS here would be like a fixed odds bet I'd look at.
It's odds on, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah.
Massive odds on.
So an obvious overs for me.
Yeah, nice.
Yes. Best of luck with your birthday.
Thanks, mate.
Best of luck with your marathon.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure you wouldn't want people to say it, but I think people can find a pinned tweet on Dan's Twitter page if you did want to donate to his charity of choice. What is it?
World Animal Protection.
Lovely stuff. So do go and check that out. I'll be doing so this afternoon. So far, the biggest donations has come from Jack, which is...
I don't have to talk about it.
The pressure is on. I need to follow suit and match his £2.50. Make sure you check out the SpreadX and Sporting Index sites for all of your spread betting needs ahead of the weekend's football and across all sports. If you haven't got an account already with either of those, you can find a welcome offer for new customers only in the link in the bio. T's and C's do apply, and do remember that losses can exceed your initial deposit. Check out the oddschecker app and the site for all of your fixed odds betting needs, and WhoScored.com have you covered for all of the stats needed to inform your football betting this weekend. Enjoy the football. Best of luck with the marathon, and to anyone else out there running it as well. We'll be back again next week, but please do ensure that you're gambling responsibly.